Right now, the average Montclair home is assessed at about 62 cents on the dollar of what it would actually sell for. That gap just caught up with the whole town. Essex County has ordered Montclair to revalue all of its roughly 11,000 properties by 2028, the first revaluation since 2018. Sometime in the second half of 2027, a letter lands in your mailbox with a new number on it, and that number sets your property taxes for years. Most owners will do nothing until that letter arrives. In this video, I'll show you exactly what's coming up, who tends to go up, who tends to go down, and the three things I do before an inspector ever knocks on your door. Quick thing before we start. Want to see what your home would actually appraise for? The link in the description books a 15-minute numbers conversation with me. That's it. Let's get into it. First, what a revaluation actually is, because the name scares people more than it should. A revaluation is not a tax increase. Montclair collects the same total tax levy the day after the reval as the day before. What changes is how the total gets divided across the town's roughly 11,000 properties. Think of it as reslicing the same pie. Every property gets remeasured against today's market instead of 2018's, and your slice either grows, shrinks, or holds relative to your neighbors. Last time in 2018, some assessments went up and some came down. On average, residential assessments rose about 22.5%, and the tax rate was cut by roughly the same amount to keep the total flat. Rates down, assessments up, same pie. So the town doesn't win or lose, individual owners do. And which side you land on isn't luck. It's what happened to your home and your block since 2018. That's the whole game, and it's why preparation matters more than panic. So why now? In November 2025, the Essex County Tax Board ordered Montclair to complete a revaluation by 2028. The trigger is that gap I mentioned. The state tracks a number called the director's ratio, how close assessments sit to true market value, and Montclair's is a 61.52%. Assessments were set in 2018. The market didn't stay in 2018. This July, the typical Montclair sale closed about 15% over its original asking price, and some went 50, 60% over. And here's why the county cares, and why you should. That drift isn't even. Some homes have nearly doubled since 2018. Some barely moved, but they're all still paying the taxes on 2018 relationships. The revaluation exists to fix exactly that. So the more your corner of Montclair outran the rest of town, the more this video applies to you. Here's the timeline, and I'm going to be straight with you about which dates are official and which are projections because the town hasn't published the full schedule yet. What's firm? The county order says complete for the 2028 tax year, and new assessment letters are expected in the second half of 2027. Everything else follows the standard shape of a reval this size. Before the letters, inspections. A person from the revaluation firm knocks and wants to walk the house. Right after the letters, the informal review window, your one cheap, fast chance to correct the number in a conversation instead of a courtroom. Then the new tax list is certified and the first bills that reflect it arrive during 2028. Now the date that actually matters, the appeal deadline. For a revaluation year, you until the later of May 1st or 45 days after the town finishes mailing the assessment notices. So plan on spring 2028, but the date that counts is the one printed on your notice. Write down two things, the informal review window in late 2027 and that appeal deadline. Miss both, and whatever number they gave you is your number. So who goes up and who comes down? Nobody can promise your outcome. Anyone who does is guessing. But the pattern in every revaluation is consistent. Homes that were gut renovated or expanded since 2018 tend to go up. The assessment finally catches up with the work. The blocks that appreciated fastest tend to go up. Older homes that haven't been touched in decades tend to hold or come down because the reval relevels them against everything that improved around them. Condos are the wild card. And notice what that means. This is not about what your house is worth. It's about how far your current assessment sits from that worth compared to everyone else's. Two homes with the same Zillow number can have opposite reval outcomes. Now the useful part. What I do before an inspector knocks. Three things. One, pull your paperwork, permits, invoices, dates for anything you've done to the house. If the inspector can't verify, they estimate, and estimates don't run in your favor. And let them in. Refuse the inspection and you get assessed on an estimate anyway. Two, know your market number now, not in 2027. I mean an appraisal grade read of what your home would sell for, built from closed sales on your block, not as estimate. That number is your entire case at an informal review, and it takes months of watching comps to build it well. Three, The day your letter arrives, put the informal review on your calendar. It's a conversation, it's free, and it corrects most honest mistakes. If it has to go further than that, a formal appeal, that's a tax appeal attorney's lane, not mine, and not something to improvise. Which leaves the question I'm hearing most. Should we sell before this or after? Honest answer, it depends which side of the reval your home likely sits on, and that's knowable. If yours is the renovated, expanded, fast appreciating kind, that's likely to jump. Selling before the new bill lands means buyers are still underwriting the old tax number. Once the reval arrives in 2028, they'll be doing their math on the new one. If yours is likely to hold or come down, there's no rush. A lower post-reval tax bill becomes a selling point. Either way, it starts with one number, where your home's market value sits against its assessment today. That's the analysis I built a career on before real estate. I spent a decade building the data tools bond traders used to price the market. Pricing a Montclair house against its assessment is the same job with a shorter spreadsheet. If that letter is going to matter to you, and if you own here, it will. Don't wait for 2027 to find out what it says. Let's look at your numbers now. Book the 15-minute call at the link in the description. We'll pull your assessment and your block sales and see which side of this you're on. No pitch, just the numbers. And if your Montclair home puts you anywhere above $1 million when you sell, watch my next video, NJ Mansion Tax 2026, the actual math. The rules change in July 2025 and again this April. It's right there.